In North Carolina, a local cemetery holds a deadly secret.
What if he really is seeing ghosts?
Bodies may lie in peace, but their spirits may be anything but restful.
And what if it doesn't stop? What do we do then?
In America, there is real evil. It lurks in the darkest shadows in our most ordinary towns. Between the worlds we see and the things we fear, there are doors. When they are opened, nightmares become reality.
Come on out! Quit playing games! Gable! If you're in here, show yourself!
Jamie Bruce and Aaron Pennington grew up in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. A longtime couple, they decide to buy a house together in the historic neighborhood of Jackson Acres.
It'll take some work to make it ours, but the foundation is solid, and the neighborhood is great.
Yeah, this house was my first house. Nothing extravagant about it, but it was a start, and it was near Jamie's family.
My vision for the house was being able to raise our children in the backyard and visualizing them being on the swing set and playing and running around and laughing and riding their bikes and calling it our own.
What do you think?
I think it's home.
In the fall of 2008, the couple is settled in their new home with their two children, 1-year-old Lacey and 3-year-old Mason.
And this one.
Baseball.
Baseball. What's that one?
Aaron and Jamie enjoy their new neighborhood, but they have no idea that mysterious neighbors will change their lives forever. Almost every week, the family takes advantage of the local parks. One in particular becomes a favorite. Curiously, it's attached to a cemetery.
The cemetery is only a few houses over from my house and across the street, and it's a very old cemetery, family-owned and kept up, and I believe it's as old as Civil War time.
I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna check it out. Okay, we'll wait out here for you.
Jamie notices Mason seems preoccupied with something he sees and hears.
Hey, Mason, are you feeling okay?
I want to go home.
Okay. He wants to go home. Okay, come on.
On weeknights, Aaron works the late shift as a manager at a trucking company. Sometimes he doesn't get home until dawn.
Good night, Dad. I love you.
I do want to talk to him. Hey, any idea what time you'll be getting home?
I wish I knew. Still waiting for, 2 more trucks to come in.
My work schedule is usually kind of like a second and third shift combined. You go in at 2, 3, but you don't really know when you're going to get home. And it puts a lot more responsibility on Jamie.
I miss him, and the kids miss him, and we just wished he could be home more.
Jamie settles in for another evening without Aaron, but she and her children are not alone.
happened?
A man came out of a mule.
Oh, come here, baby girl. Look, Mason, there's nowhere else to hide in here. We are alone. Look, there's no one here.
A few hours later, when Aaron comes home, he learns of his son's dream.
What was unusual about it was because this was totally out of the ordinary for my son to make up something like this.
Oh, hey. What are you doing awake, huh?
He wouldn't go back to bed until you got home.
The next morning, after Aaron and Mason leave the house, Jamie finds herself experiencing the unexplained.
I went walking into the kitchen and all the cabinet doors in the top were opened. My first instinct was maybe I had done this myself. Don't really know why I would have left every single door standing wide open, but that was my first instinct. But still in the back of my mind, it just didn't make sense.
Jamie tries to dismiss the experiences and goes about her routine.
Yeah, let me see those grubby hands of yours. Oh, they're filthy. Filthy, filthy. Other one. All right, buddy. I'm gonna grab you a towel, okay?
But that soon proves to be impossible.
No, I don't want to go back, Will.
I had stepped out of the bathroom to grab a towel to get him out of the bath, and as I stepped into the hall, he started having like a serious conversation.
Mason, are you talking to someone?
And I kind of listened for a minute, couldn't really make out what my son was saying.
Mason, who are you talking to?
Gable.
Is Gable one of your toys?
He's a man.
A man?
He was right here, but when he left.
For the first time, Jamie begins to worry. Could Gable be more than a figment of her son's imagination? Could her neighborhood or her house be haunted?
Mason, Mommy and I want to ask you something. Where did you hear the name Gable? Was it on TV or at school?
He told me.
Who told you?
Gable.
And I still kept thinking that maybe he was just imagining, and he kept telling me he was real. He promised he was real.
Honey, we know that Gable isn't a real person.
He's so real.
Okay, well, if he's real, then where is he?
And real.
Gable's in the bedroom? Okay, well, why don't you go and get him? Tell him we want to talk to him.
My heart dropped a little bit at that moment when he said he's back here in the bedroom. And that's when I said, well, if he's back there, go get him. Tell him I want to talk to Gable.
He really did walk back there and talked, said something.
Where's Gable?
Right here.
Gable's where?
Right here.
Well, if he's right there, then why can't I see him?
He's right real.
He continued to say over and over again, Mommy, he's real. He's right here. He's standing right there. He sees you.
He's right here.
Can you ask Gable a question for me? Ask him what 5 + 6 is.
I knew that My son could not add. He knew his ABCs and he knew his colors and he knew how to count, but he did not know how to add. Our mouths just dropped. Oh my gosh. What do you think now? What are you supposed to believe in? Do you believe your child now or not?
Jamie and Aaron are shocked that they may have a ghost lurking in the shadows of their home, and its target may be their son.
It kind of sends some chills up my back. What if there is a ghost in here by the name of Gable, and my son's telling them the truth?
Their friend Pam Marsh is starting to believe it as well.
Stop, it's my turn. I said stop it.
Mason, is Gable going to be joining us for dinner?
Her son's demeanor let us know that this was something very serious by the look on his face.
He has to walk.
We questioned him, and the answers he gave us let us know that he really believed this.
Mason, quit being silly and go get ready for dinner.
Come on, we can't play in here.
It was really odd that he believed so intensely.
I'm beginning to believe him.
Me too.
It was pretty weird, and he was dead serious.
Miss Hamilton?
Yes?
I'm Jamie, Mason's mother.
Of course, good to see you again.
Seeking a rational explanation, Jamie consults Mason's preschool teacher.
Wow, he did very well. Listen, I know this may sound like an odd question, but does the name Gable mean anything to you?
Gable? No, I don't think so.
Mason's been talking about someone named Gable, and I thought maybe it was someone in your class or a character from a book you read to the children.
I've never heard the name Gable before. It's an unusual name. Maybe you heard it on TV.
He couldn't have gotten it from anywhere else, not even off of television. He watched Elmo. I mean, I don't know of anywhere else he could have come up with such a name. I had to finally trust in my child and believe that he was definitely seeing someone or something.
In the following days, Jamie is on high alert, watching for any signs that Gable is real.
At times, I have felt like something was standing behind me and watching me. I was a little unsure if my mom was overreacting or if something really was watching me. You had it in the back of your mind like something wasn't right. Something was, you felt out of place.
Seeking comfort from her friend Pam, Jamie is interrupted, this time, by mysterious sounds.
I just don't know what to say to him anymore. I mean, he talks to Gable more than he talks to me. Oh, please, you know Aaron. He has an explanation for everything. But he doesn't have to spend half the night here alone. I think someone's in the house. Shh, 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 shh. Just hang on a second.
There was nothing there. The kids were fast asleep.
house, Aaron. I'm hearing noises. There's loud noises.
All right, just slow down.
It sounded like bike chains hitting the floor, and it was loud, and I have no
No idea how the kids didn't wake up. I don't know how they...
Check the rest of the house.
Yeah, I did. I checked the rest of the house. Everything's fine, but...
I know I heard something coming out of that room.
I believe you did hear something, but it couldn't have been a chain falling. It was probably just something in the heating system.
I myself always look for answers. If it's something's broke, I want to fix it. If it's unexplained, I want to explain it. That's I guess my thought process is there's an explanation for everything.
Aaron never seemed overwhelmed. He was just wanting me to understand that he's listening.
Jamie tries to convince herself there is nothing to fear, that her home is a safe haven where she can be protected from the outside world. But something wants her to feel otherwise.
I looked up at the monitor to check on the children, and I saw smoke, real thick smoke, going from one side of the TV to the next. I got up there, and there was nothing there. There was no smell, there was no smoke, nothing. I called Aaron, and he said that if you saw smoke, then there has to be an explanation as to why there was smoke.
Everything looks fine. Maybe what you saw was static. The camera could have picked up some kind of interference.
No, I know what I saw. It was smoke. Maybe this was Gable.
I thought in the back of my mind that it was possible that there was something that was trying to communicate with me to let me know that it is there and is present.
Oh, whatever it was. It's over now. Nobody got hurt. Let's let it go. Call it a night.
Fine. The children are staying in our room tonight.
Jamie, Aaron, and Mason are finally able to rest, but their daughter Lacey is not. And Jamie is terrified because she knows why.
What are we supposed to do?
My children are my world, and to have something that's scaring them or bothering them is just devastating.
I'll stay out with her tonight.
And what if it doesn't stop? What do we do then?
Jamie is now convinced that the entities seen by her children may not be imaginary.
I've never heard my daughter scream like that. She just kept looking like something was in there.
I mean, she probably just had a bad dream.
Well, of course, when Jamie told me what had happened, I said, did she have a nightmare? And Jamie's like, no, this is different. She said, Pam, there was actually fear in my little girl's eyes.
I don't believe in ghosts, but I don't know how else to explain it. Stuff like this has been happening ever since Mason started talking to Gable. What if he really is seeing ghosts?
While Aaron again works late, Jamie tries to sleep, unaware that Gable may not be the only entity haunting her house.
I finally braved up enough to pull the covers down, and there was nothing there. When I heard the laugh, it was as loud as I'm talking right now, and only about 2 or 3 feet away from me. And it was just so real. That's when I realized that this was real, that there was definitely something in my house. And at that point, I was terrified.
When Aaron returns home, he knows his family's life has dramatically changed.
We're all now in the living room, all together, one big bedroom.
Now, it's Aaron's turn to listen.
I start hearing this like 3 notes, same rhythm, over and over. And I'm sitting there listening to it, and it don't stop. It just don't stop. It goes on for like 5 minutes. I'm thinking, maybe it's the little kids' little toy pianos in the basement, or maybe it's something in my closet. I don't know. I didn't know what it was. I'm sitting there trying to figure it out. What is this noise?
Aaron is determined to find an explanation. But now he himself begins to wonder, what if there isn't one?
And I listened, and sure enough, it was a piano playing, just plain as day, and it sounded like it was in the next room.
What is it?
I've searched the entire house. I can't figure out where it's coming from.
It sounds like our old piano.
We used to have a piano in our home when we first moved there.
That doesn't make any sense.
First Gable, then a child's laughter. Now, terrifying sounds. What could be next?
I woke up to a real muffled sound.
It's like they heard us. We interrupted them.
What I had heard, 100%. I knew that there was no denying that.
Jamie and Aaron both realize they need help, and they need it fast. For more A Haunting, go to destinationamerica.com. Jamie and Aaron are horrified and confused by events occurring in their North Carolina home. Jamie has decided it's time to figure out what could be causing the bizarre behavior.
I finally had to do some research and figure out, how bad these things can actually get. I was bound and determined that I was not gonna let it get to that point.
But helpful information comes in a most unexpected way.
We're back with best-selling author Philip James. Mr. James is a paranormal researcher and investigator, and he's written a new book called Earthbound Spirits. A lot of times we are...
From an unlikely source, Aaron learns for the first time how they might deal with paranormal activity.
The expert had said that if it knows that you're aggravated, it feeds off of that. It's going to continue. It's not going to stop.
Jamie learns that the most important thing she can do to rid her house of the entity is to face her fear.
Mommy?
I'm sorry, sweetie. Did I wake you?
No, it was Gable. He wants to play.
Is Gable here right now?
He's in Rio.
I decided to be strong. I was gonna stand up for myself, for my children, and for my home.
Gable, I need you to leave our house now. It's time for Mason to go to bed, and you're keeping him awake.
I looked over that direction, and I told Gable that he needed to leave, that it was time for our son to go to bed.
He told you he's going.
Good.
In the following weeks, the house remains quiet and peaceful. Jamie ignores her fears and reclaims her life. She has no idea that the entities in her home are changing their focus from her children to her.
Something had stepped on the back of my pants legs. It startled me, but I ignored it. As I go to get up the steps, I realized I forgot to cut the dryer on. Something grabbed the back of my calf. I felt like it just wanted me to know that it was still there. At that point, I lost it. I knew then that it can get physical. What happens if it touched my children?
She called me hysterical. She said, something, you need to get home.
It kept pulling me down.
Are you okay?
It bothered me to think that if something can touch you, that's a whole different ballgame. Because if they can do that, what else can they do?
Stay out of the basement. I'm on my way. If you're here, I want to see you.
I wanted to let it know, hey, this is my way of inviting you. Got the lights off, it's just me and you.
If you really want me to believe in you, come on out! Quit playing games!
I was so angry at it, I wanted to see it.
But the entity remains hidden.
Gable! If you're in here, show yourself!
When Jamie's friend Pam Marsh learns of the heightened paranormal activity, she enlists the aid of investigators Pam Nance and Ashley Field. After reviewing the past events, they are puzzled until they suddenly make a connection to the graveyard near the home.
The family had visited this cemetery on their property. When they came back from the cemetery, shortly thereafter, the activity started, which leads me to believe that they brought something back with them.
When the investigators arrive at the house, they find unusually high levels of electromagnetic energy, signs that supernatural entities are indeed present. They decide to try to communicate with whomever or whatever is occupying the house by videotaping an EVP session and record electronic voice phenomena.
Gable, are you here?
Once the EVP session started, you could feel an energy build in the room.
Are you here because of Mason? Do you want to play with Mason? I know there are others. Who is here with you?
I very rarely hear voices with my naked ear on an investigation, but this investigation was different.
The feeling in the room became just one of complete uneasiness.
It was not going to get better. It was going to get worse.
Jamie, would you turn on the light?
It felt like a bubble was forming on the front of that mirror and pushing out a very negative energy, and it was about to explode.
Paranormal investigators Pam Nance and Ashley Field cannot believe their eyes as they watch something try to emerge through a mirror in Jamie and Aaron's home. An entity they immediately decide they need to stop.
Many people believe that mirrors can actually act as a portal between our world and the spirit world. There have actually been reports of entities coming through mirrors.
I think there's something trying to get through.
At that moment in time, had I not stopped, I think the activity would have escalated on a level no one had seen yet by what would have been brought in. I knew immediately that I needed to do something before this bubble of negativity exploded outwards into the room.
Investigator Ashley Field has come prepared for a purifying ritual.
The cleansing of the mirrors with this lemon-based water is a Low Country recipe to seal a portal.
The investigator knows that the power is not only in the recipe.
Cleansing is all about intent. It's not a power that anybody gives you. It's all about your intentions, what you're putting out there. If you're putting out good and you're wishing for good and you want the bad gone and you're pushing away negative energy, it's like getting away from bad people.
Now we just have to get rid of what's already here. The sage will free the room of the spirits.
The investigator uses a Native American tradition known as smudging to purify the air.
You start from the center of the room and you move outward, pushing all the negativity out of the room. You start in one room and you keep moving through each room. You have to have a door or a window cracked prior to starting this process so whatever's in there can leave. Otherwise, you're just chasing it from room to room.
Next, she salts the property, a Christian tradition in the South.
Salt's used for its protective qualities. It's a pure substance. It also repels evil. You start from the center of the room and you flick the salt forward. The salt water I used was from an outgoing tide. It's based on the same principle of baptism in the ocean. You always baptize on an outgoing tide to pull away your sins and the negative.
With the cleansing complete, the investigators hope to be able to confirm that the entities are gone. They are not.
I typically take 3 photographs at a time. The first photograph was normal. Second photograph, there was a very dark shadow coming down across the camera's field of vision. The third photograph, clear again. And at that exact same moment, we did get a spike on our EMF meter.
The investigators conclude there is only one other way to complete the cleansing of the home. They need to return to the place where the bizarre occurrences began.
Pam, come look at this.
When we went back to the cemetery, we were reading the grave markers, and there was a grave for Gabriel.
Gabriel Jackson, 1838 to 1864.
He was the son of the original plantation owner. He had been in the Civil War and had been killed in the Civil War. The trauma of that sudden death is the perfect storm for a restless spirit. We associated that Gabriel with the Gable that the little boy was experiencing.
The investigators also learned that the spirit of the laughing young girl taunting Jamie might also have a physical connection to the area.
In our research, we did find that there was a group of ponds behind the original home place, and the story goes that a young girl drowned there. We suspect that the little girl may have been a slave on the original plantation.
She died a traumatic death, a sudden death. As we've seen through other investigations, she may not realize that she is deceased. She may still think she's living. She's still acting out the same lifestyle she was living before her death.
I feel like that this is still their land in their eyes, and that's why they're still roaming around.
With the investigators now understanding the entities at hand, can they finally free Jamie and her family from their paranormal nightmare? For Jamie and Aaron, what began as a visit from their son Mason's imaginary friend Gable has evolved into a paranormal experience for the entire family. Investigators have determined that more than one entity haunts the home. While they now have an idea who these lost souls might be, they know there is only one way to put them to rest: through the power of prayer.
Now I need you to do something. I need you to say a blessing to complete the cleansing and to reclaim your house.
The homeowner should always be present when you do a cleansing. It's their home. They have to take back ownership. They need to be there with you. They need to reiterate and reinforce what you're doing, because when you leave, it's just them again.
Kind of blessing. Any kind, as long as it's something you truly believe in.
To effectively do a cleanse, it has to be based on what the homeowner believes in.
Our Father, who art in heaven, Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. God. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever.
Gable! If you're in here, show yourself!
Amen. They're gone, aren't they?
Nothing here can hurt you now.
It was a long night, but I really appreciate you all coming. Hey.
Oh. Did you get any sleep?
No sleep. Thank you. You've given me my home back.
We didn't do that. You did that. The power and the rituals came from you. And if anything like this starts up again, just remember, you're strong enough to stop it yourself.
Thank you.
I was very thankful for having them come and to give me that strength and to know that no matter what, I own that home. I knew by them telling me that I could do this and that I was strong enough to do this, that I could do it. And I was determined. I was going to do exactly what they said.
For Jamie, Aaron, Mason, and Lacey, their paranormal nightmare is over.
Hey! Oh, I missed you.
After the cleanse, it was like a huge burden lifted. Jamie was smiling more. She felt validated. It's kind of like we can pick up where we left off, you know. It's time to focus on other stuff.
Oh, it's okay. Hey, it's okay. You ready?
Talking with the neighbors made me realize that we were not the only ones experiencing this, and that it was the land, I believe, is where it's all coming from.
Before I'd listened to the stories I've seen on TV, I've always just automatically thought there's always an explanation. Now that I've seen it and heard things, there has to be more. If you're closed-minded to any idea, then the less you're ever going to learn. I would tell any skeptic to be more open-minded. You just need to listen. Just listen.
When a young couple purchases a neighborhood haunt, they get much more than they bargained for.
There was so much activity, and there seemed to be so many entities in one location.
Ghostly pranks quickly turn aggressive, threatening the safety and sanity of everyone who comes in the front door.
We were dealing with something much bigger than ourselves. It was getting more personal, it was getting more dangerous. I was truly scared at that point.
In America, there is real evil. It lurks in the darkest shadows in our most ordinary towns. Between the worlds we see and the things we fear, there are doors. When they are opened, nightmares become reality.
Good.
Lynn, what are you doing? Lynn, Lynn, talk to us. Lynn, are you okay? Lynn, can we call you? What's going on?
In 2007, Jason Ryder surprises his wife Lynn with an unexpected gift.
Okay, open them.
What?
It's Maury's. We are the new owners of Maury's.
Maury's is a popular Meriden, Connecticut restaurant.
Oh my God. So Maury's was basically the place that everyone has a story about in Meriden, because that is the place we all grew up.
A lot of people from the town, they would go there. So it's almost like a Cheers.
What have you done?
Jason and Lynn frequented Maury's on dates and dreamed they would one day own the place.
I kind of got blindsided by the purchase of Maury's. I didn't know. Jason's pretty good about that kind of stuff.
After 3 months of renovations, Lynn and Jason renamed the bar Ryder's.
I know there's a man in the mirror that I don't know.
Lynn's father, Barry, is recruited to help.
Lynn is a people person. If she has people around her, she's totally happy.
Both Lynn and Jason quickly discover that running a restaurant and a bar is more challenging than they ever imagined.
Lynn, we are on our last bottle of tequila, and the ice machine is on the fritz again.
We were up there 7 days a week. Some days it was 15, 16 hours a day. We were still trying to learn the business.
Also, we need to order more shot glasses.
I just ordered new ones last week. Where'd they go?
I don't know.
I usually had about 48 shot glasses. As the weeks went on, I was down to like 2 shot glasses. And then I would buy 24 more. And a couple days later, I'd be down to 5 shot glasses.
This is getting expensive.
So I questioned my staff as to, are you breaking them? Are you throwing them out? Are people stealing them?
The shot glasses are not the only items disappearing in the bar. Lynn's keys frequently go missing.
We would spend sometimes almost up to an hour looking for keys. They would go missing pretty much every day for a while. In the beginning, I thought I was losing my mind. And then it started happening more frequently. So I started questioning who's doing it.
Lynn often comes in early in the morning to catch up on paperwork. It's the only quiet time she has before opening the restaurant for the day. Up until now, she's never been disturbed.
Dad? Jason, is that you?
I heard my name, and not just my name, I heard Lynn Marie, which is my full name.
What? Dad, Jason, what? What do you guys want? I'm swamped here.
It sounded like it was coming from out in the restaurant, like my husband or my dad was yelling for me. I wasn't really pleased that I had to get up because I was extremely busy.
Dad? Jason?
I looked around and the building was empty. And the hair stood up on the back of my neck. I told Jason I felt like I was being watched. He basically just said, listen, you're tired. You work a lot of hours.
Jason's assurance that nothing strange is going on does not make Lynn feel better.
When something inside me tells me that I need to kind of be on alert, there's usually a reason.
Several days later, it's Super Bowl Sunday and Lynn prepares for a party at the restaurant. Suddenly, Lynn feels a tap on her shoulder. And then another.
The second tap was harder. It was hard enough that my attention needed to be caught.
Marcy? Marcy, you there? You got it? Were you just in the basement? No, Lynn, I just got here. I need to get back upstairs.
Things moving or disappearing, that's one thing. For something to be able to come up and touch you, I mean, it's scary.
Over the next few weeks, Lynn continues to have strange experiences in the restaurant. But each time she tries to talk about it with her family, they laugh it off.
Everybody was teasing me at that point. Like, oh, what's the matter, Lynn? Did your ghost do it? So it was a big joke. I mean, it was a constant joke.
Well, we joked around a lot because we just thought this was just, it was a way to ease the tension.
You leaving?
Mm-hmm. I need to go to the post office. I'll lock up.
Okay.
I had beer bottles all over the place. They were on the floor, they were moved around. I'm the only one in the bar. The bar is locked. I cannot fathom how this could have happened. There's no logical explanation. I get very, very uneasy because I can't figure this out.
The next day, Barry stocks the beer cooler before opening. He thinks he's alone.
Not funny! Hey, come on! Open the door! Jason, open the door!
I was afraid. If you've ever been in combat, if you've ever had somebody literally trying to kill you, that's the feeling you get. And that's the exact feeling I had.
Open the door! Come on, open the door! Seriously, come on! Hey, come on! Open the door!
Barry Eichenauer is working alone in his daughter's bar when someone or something locks him in the beer cooler.
Come on, open the door!
I caught my breath, and now I had to get my wits about me. I had to figure out what was going on.
Dad!
Yeah.
Are you okay? I heard someone yelling.
I'm okay now.
The look on his face alone told me that he was a little scared. He was never going to admit it to me.
I've been in that cooler a million times. It's never locked on me. The door can't even close by itself.
This was what really started me to get into her corner and say, look, you've got to figure out what's going on.
Lynn fears there is something supernatural lurking in the shadows of her restaurant. Her mother convinces her that a psychic may see what Lynn cannot.
Do you own a bar?
Yes.
I sense two mischievous entities at your restaurant.
She said to me, you have two spirits, and they weren't really happy with some of the things I was doing. She told me that they had been there for many, many years. And instead of going into a power struggle with them, I needed to go back to the restaurant and kind of just make peace with the fact that they were there.
They've taken several items and hidden them in the basement.
And she described it with the dirt cellar. She told me exactly what corner and what box to look behind. She says you'll find them. My parents had to drop me off at the restaurant. I immediately ran downstairs and started digging through exactly where she told me to go. the very moment that I pulled back the last box and found shot glasses. I kind of froze. I did freeze and was like, whoa, okay.
What are you doing back here?
Jason. I found the shot glasses. Exactly where the psychic said they would be. Jason. I really think there are ghosts here.
Anyone could have brought those glasses down here. It proves nothing. Don't say anything to the employees. I don't want them thinking they work for a crazy person.
I didn't want my wife to pretty much be telling people about this because I don't want them to think that she was a nutcase. You know, seeing this or seeing that.
I knew I wasn't crazy at that point, but that's when you really got to start going, okay, wait, we're dealing with something, you know? And you don't know what's gonna happen.
A week later, Lynn hires Tito Corchato to be a bouncer and help out around the bar. She doesn't tell him about the strange occurrences.
When I first started working at Ryder's, I didn't have any weird feelings towards the bar. I've never heard any stories about anything.
Dad, would you run down to the basement, pick up a couple of more boxes of martini glasses for me?
Oh, I'll get them.
Thanks, Tito.
You could feel the change of temperature. It was very cold down there.
Who's there? Jason? Is that you? What the?
Register tape was thrown at me.
Good try, Jason.
I thought it was Jay playing around with me, because Jay loves to play jokes. So I thought it was Jay.
That same evening, Tito helps with cleanup after closing.
To actually see pots flying off on their own and there's no one back there, that was the scariest moment. That made me believe that there were actually some supernatural activities going on at Ryder's.
Later that night,
Yeah, what is it? Okay, I'll meet the police there in a few minutes.
The alarm company again?
Third time this week. Damn, I swear.
This particular time, the police didn't show up, so I figured somebody's breaking into the building. I see like 3 black shadows. And I'm like, oh, here we go.
Jason has no idea what danger is just behind the door. After the alarm goes off in the restaurant, Jason Ryder believes intruders have broken in.
I figured I had to get into a fight, and so I'm getting myself all pumped up, you know, all juiced up and everything else. I kick open the door, nobody's there. I go home. hour later, the alarm goes off again. Alarm went off like 5 times that night.
As the nightly bar scene at Ryder's picks up, Lynn and Jason's secret grows even more difficult to keep.
Come. What the?
The cue ball came up in the air and jumped over all the other balls and just hit the table.
Listen, I didn't touch it. That's not okay.
Guys, I am so sorry. We are going to have this table checked to make sure that it's level.
We chalked it up to the floors being unlevel that night or something. I didn't want to scare people.
Okay, let's get a beer.
But the customers know what they saw. Later that same evening, a woman is in the ladies' restroom, alone.
Hello? Is there anyone in here?
Oh my God! I asked her if she was okay, and she couldn't talk to me at that point. She specifically said to me, I do not believe in heaven and I do not believe in hell, but I do not even know how to tell you what I just saw.
You need to see something.
She then asked me to please go into my bathroom and look at the wall.
I'm sorry. I don't know what to say.
I was starting to feel hopeless. There were more and more people coming forward to me. And the more that people came forward to me, the more standoffish I was. Because not only could I not explain it to them, but I couldn't do anything to fix it.
The paranormal pranks at Ryder's are no longer harmless. People are scared. Lynn and Jason are not sure how to solve the problem. They continue to run the restaurant as if nothing happened.
I think my husband was frustrated because Jay is a fixer, and that's what he does. And he couldn't fix this, and I think that he didn't want to admit to me that he couldn't protect us, and I think that bothered him.
Jason continues to do what he does best, fix whatever is broken. On a 90-degree summer day, Jason is in the basement repairing a leaky pipe.
As soon as I went in there, it was like just cold, dry air, like death. I could see the smoke coming from my breath, and it was definitely not a cold day.
Tito? Is that you? Barry?
I would see, it will say shadows, or I think I see somebody right there next to me, or like 10 feet away, and I would look, they wouldn't be there. I knew I really saw something.
Despite the tension, Lynn continues to go through the motions of her routine. But this morning will be unlike any other. destinationamerica.com. Lynn Ryder is trapped in the back of her restaurant.
And the energy was tight. It was almost as if you couldn't breathe. There was really nowhere for me to go at that point because I was in the back corner of the building and I was alone. It scared me. It's one thing to know that there's a presence. It's another thing to know that they know you're there. The fact that it knew my name and not just my first name, it bothered me. That was something personal.
Lynn reaches out to a friend for help. Clairvoyant and medium Karen Hollis.
Lynn had a real sense that I wouldn't lead her astray. If she needed some type of therapy, I was going to send her to the right person. And if she needed the right paranormal investigative group, I would also be able to point her in the right direction.
Karen arrives and takes a look around the entire restaurant, including the basement.
My first feeling about it was, it just felt heavy. The air felt heavy.
When we had walked in, the room was ice cold.
I got a sense of, why are you here? The minute I walked into the bar. Yep, this place is haunted. We've got something here. It's been my experience that mirrors, specifically antique mirrors, because they reflect back to us our own perceptions on reality, create doorways to other dimensions. And I thought to myself, oh yeah, that's the portal. That's where they're coming through. A portal is a doorway that can allow something from a different dimension to come into our particular plane of existence.
Lynn.
Karen recommends Lynn get rid of the mirror and that she contact a paranormal investigation team Karen works with. A week later, Karen and the Ghosts of New England Research Society arrive after closing to investigate. Kurt Knapp runs the team.
I was very excited to get an investigation underway there. At the same time, I was a little bit skeptical because it just seemed to be too much going on there for any one place.
Before arriving, Kurt Knapp researches Ryder's history.
We always try to look at the place from a historic perspective to see what happened there, because in New England, there are so many layers of history.
He learns Ryder's was originally 2 residences built in the 1800s, later joined together to become a feed store, paint store, and finally Maury's before Lynn and Jason took over. Town lore claims 2 deaths resulted from a fire in 1976. Could these be the ghosts haunting the bar? Kurt approaches his investigations with an open mind.
We try to approach each investigation with a scientific method and also a psychic method. We don't discount the client's claims, but we take them with a grain of salt, realizing that most clients are not trained observers.
We got everything under control. Oh, Laka.
Okay, thank you. Joe and Karen, I want you to go into the basement. Mike, you and I are going to go to the kitchen. Let's go.
There was a heaviness in the air, and the minute I turned the corner, I got a sense of an entity that was over my left shoulder.
I know you're here. I can feel it. Please, come forward.
I heard in real time, I'm so weak. When I asked telepathically, in what way are you weak? Is it emotionally or physically? It answered both. And it was shocking. I heard it, we marked it, disembodied voice. I knew at that point we had a very haunted bar.
Karen senses several more spirits, but they will not communicate with her.
I felt the presence of at least 2 separate entities, but many times when you're investigating a haunting, it feels like a game of hide and go seek. The energy moves away from you. So it doesn't want to let you know that it's actually there.
Investigators set up a laser grid in the basement to detect motion.
We thought we'd do an impromptu EVP session in the dirt floor part of the cellar. I felt something tap me on the back of the head.
I have movement in the grid.
Kurt Knapp and the Ghosts of New England Research Society are looking for verifiable proof that Ryder's is haunted.
I have movement in the grid.
Suddenly, an investigator is in distress.
What's wrong? What happened? I don't know what it was.
He said it was like something just rushed right through me. He used the comparison of like throwing a handful of sand through a screen door. I think that it was trying to show us its power, that it could do things like this and we couldn't do anything about it. We were seeing and hearing these things for ourselves, and there was absolutely no doubt in our mind that there was some serious paranormal activity happening in Ryder's.
That night, Karen decides to do a clearing, to communicate with spirits in the building and attempt to cross them over.
We're gonna use the tarot cards.
The tarot cards provide Karen with an opportunity to communicate with the spirit through symbolism, rather than trying to capture its voice again on a digital recorder.
Can you tell us who you are? Why you're here?
I immediately got the Emperor card, which would indicate a male energy. When I asked, how did you die? It gave me the hanged man, that he had hanged himself.
Lynn is astonished.
There was one patron who talked to my husband and us about when he was a little boy, they used to work there. And he had told us that there was someone who had died by hanging.
When I asked, why do I feel that you are sad in some way? He gave me the 3 of Swords, that he was divorced, separated, heartbroken, that there had been an issue.
Do you want to leave?
And when I asked him, do you want to leave? He gave me the Sun card, yes.
Okay, thank you. Now, with your permission, I'm going to create a light. And I want you to walk into it. Do you understand?
He says he wants to rest.
He indicated to me that yes, he would be willing to take the chance to walk into it. I created the beam of light, and then he just disappeared.
He's gone.
We had released one of the more frustrating entities. But given that the building has so much history, it certainly has more work.
Karen believes at least one more entity remains in the building, but does not sense anything sinister.
I can't say for sure that there aren't entities or an entity at Ryder's that wishes no one harm. I can say that we didn't receive any indication that Lynn would be in any danger.
She did explain to me that there still could be other spirits that have not come forward yet.
We're just gonna have to wait and see.
For the next 3 days, Ryder's feels like a normal place of business again. There are no paranormal incidents, but are the entities really gone? Late one night, Lynn and a bartender are closing the restaurant.
Marcy, I think we had a really good night tonight.
We did. We had a great night. glass flew off the shelf and smashed my hand.
As soon as that had happened, the feeling just came back.
Jason? I just saw Jason in the mirror.
Marcy, Jason's at home. He hasn't been here all evening.
No, I just saw him. I swear I did.
The feeling just came back. You don't really say anything to each other at that point, but we knew. We knew.
Despite the indication there are active spirits in her restaurant again, Lynn is determined to go on with life as normal.
I had invited a couple of my girlfriends over, and because I worked so many hours, we were in the back.
Let's talk about her new job.
Yeah, I'm starting next week.
Yeah?
We'll see. I'm ready to quit before I start.
No, you can do it. I know you. You can do anything. You can do it.
It's
It's
so
gonna be
nerve-wracking.
But it's exciting, right?
No, it's really exciting. It's really exciting. New opportunities and everything.
Yeah?
We'll see.
Good.
Lynn, what are you doing?
Lynn, talk to us.
Lynn, are you okay?
Lynn, should we call an ambulance?
I don't know.
What's going on?
It was not okay. That was like the last piece of protection I had, or felt I had, was to know that I had St. Michael watching over me.
Lynn believes whatever is now haunting Ryder's is more aggressive than the spirits that plagued her restaurant before the clearing.
At that point, I knew that the spirit that was crossed had nothing to do with what was really going on at Ryder's. We were dealing with something much bigger than ourselves.
Over the next few days, Lynn notices another disturbing change at her restaurant.
The building changed. It changed to oppressive and negative and a feeling of danger.
Hey, can I get my beer?
Lynn often bartends in the afternoon until the evening shift arrives.
Hey, can I get a couple more beers over here? We need 2 over here.
I've been waiting for my drink forever.
This afternoon is unusually busy.
The service is horrible here.
She doesn't know what she's doing.
The mortgage is so far behind. I hope we don't lose the house.
I don't like this drink. I hate my hair.
The drink tastes terrible.
My kids are getting bullied constantly.
She's so slow, and I don't even know why they keep her around.
Lynn believes she's hearing everyone's thoughts.
I started hearing people talking. They truly weren't speaking. In my mind, they were speaking.
She's so slow, and I don't even know why they keep her around.
The service is horrible here.
You can't protect your children.
I don't like this drink.
The drink tastes terrible.
She doesn't know what she's doing.
My kids are getting bullied constantly.
She's so slow, and I don't even know why they keep her around.
For Lynn Ryder, an afternoon at work suddenly takes a dark turn.
I was hearing people's thoughts directed at me. It was as if I was being attacked by 57 people. I was just hearing nasty, negative things about me.
You can't protect your children.
I don't like this drink.
The drink tastes terrible.
Your business is going under.
At that point, I knew I had it. I had to call my family to come in.
Lynn? Lenny? What's wrong? What's going on? Nobody can see you like this. This is crazy. It'd be embarrassing. It'd be bad for the company. Nobody is going to the hospital.
Nobody's going to the hospital.
Lynn, I didn't say anything.
You don't have to say anything. I can hear you. I can hear your thoughts.
I was in a full-out breakdown in my office that night. My mind shut down and my body shut down, and I truly lost it all in one night.
Jason convinces Lynn to take a break and stay away from the restaurant for a few days.
I was worried about her. She's like my partner. She's a partner in business. She's my partner in life. She's the mother of my children.
Lynn, it's not worth it.
Jason also tells Lynn it's time to give up their dream.
The business is not worth it. I'd rather see her just let it all go.
We've worked so hard.
Something had to be done to relieve the pressure. A little bit of hope and prayer. And I don't think she was going to be able to come back out of it.
Just think about it.
Lynn knows she has to do something to help herself. A friend recommends Lynn contact a local psychic and spiritual healer, Pam Faith.
I went to Pam to strengthen my energy again so that I could protect myself. It had nothing to do with the restaurant. It was me. I needed some clarity.
But Pam immediately zeroes in on the problems at Ryder's and asks Lynn to see the restaurant.
She said that we needed to deal with the building before I could deal with me personally.
Pam asks that her identity remains hidden.
I wanted to go to her business to remove and release the bad spirits, the bad demons, so she can get her life back.
Pam believes something dangerous is now haunting Ryder's.
I'm sensing several spirits and a demonic presence. I believe it's in the basement, and it's extremely dangerous.
The dark ones, or negative ones, whatever terminology you want to use, their intention is to harm, either physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. The bad ones want to break you down.
I believe we were dealing with demons. We weren't dealing with human spirits.
I need you to stay here in constant prayer.
Pam will attempt to clear each room in the restaurant with prayer and by encouraging the entities present to move on.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee.
God the Father.
When you're dealing with regular spirits, they need help, healing, in other words. So I will help them to heal and go to where they're supposed to go on the other side.
Pam Faith does the clearing ritual in each of the rooms on the main floor of the restaurant. She will confront the demon in the basement alone.
When you're dealing with demons, that always puts you at a risk for being harmed or being attacked. Just because I have gifts doesn't mean I can't get hurt.
She plans to find the demon and attempt to remove it from the building with prayer.
I could feel the demon in the basement. I asked God to get rid of it.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
For her own protection, Lynn stays upstairs praying.
As it is in heaven.
Pam senses the demon.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven.
Our Father, rid this place of its evil. Allow it to go.
And give us this day our daily bread.
Our Father, rid this place of its evil. Allow it to go.
And forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us.
Our Father, rid this place of its evil.
And lead us not into temptation.
Allow it to go.
But deliver us from evil.
I felt the major shift of energy in the basement once it was gone. What a difference in the room. You could breathe.
For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Lynn?
It's gone.
Yes, it is.
It's gone.
It's hopefully for good, but there's no way to know for sure.
When she was done with the entire building, immediately, I felt like I could breathe. It looked brighter. It was as if I was walking into the building for the first time. There was nothing that I had ever felt. I was almost instantaneously at ease.
Kurt Knapp and his team hope Lynn's paranormal troubles are over, but they fear the lack of activity in the restaurant is only temporary.
I don't think the haunting is over at Ryder's at all. I think that there probably will always be some type of paranormal activity there.
For Lynn, the experience has brought her closer to her family and made her a stronger person.
I do feel that I'm stronger. It's strengthened my belief in God and my religion and my faith. After going through what I've been through, I can deal with it. It's only life.
I think she's a better and stronger person now than she was when this all started.
Once you deal with that type of entity, and especially a demonic force, there's always a way for them to get back in. I know that I will have to protect myself and my family the rest of my life. They don't forget your names. They don't forget who you are.